Welcome back. Well, today marks exactly 10 years since President Trump's infamous trip down the golden escalator at Trump Tower, where he announced his intention to run for the country's highest office on June 16, 2015. It changed the face of American politics forever. The most consequential president in my lifetime, certainly. Joining me now is Trump Organization Executive Vice President Eric Trump. Eric, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And you are at the exact spot that your father came down that escalator. What would you say is the most important takeaway from the last 10 years? How have things changed? What strikes you most?
You know, my father's made politics fun again, right? I mean, that's what he did. He came down that escalator. He changed this country in an amazing way, right? He's been the greatest cheerleader, Maria, for America, and America desperately needed a cheerleader, and we're seeing the results. We're respected again around the world, and it's been an amazing 10 years. Sometimes I have to pinch myself. I mean, the amount of hell that they put us through, what they tried to do to us has been nothing short of, I mean, you couldn't make it up in the worst book, but at the same time, it's been a beautiful experience, and I couldn't be more proud of him as a son.
Well, I mean, it's true. He's made America proud because of his efforts to put America first. But in doing so,
that's right,
he broke a lot of sort of elites and their narrative in terms of how things should be governed, which had to be incredibly hard. And they threw so much at him over that 10-year period.
A lot would be an understatement. And by the way, that's why they came after him. He continued to flick the hornet's nest time and time again. And Maria, they came after him viciously, as you know better than anybody. I mean, you did a better job covering it. You know, I mean, they tried to impeach him the first time. They made up the Russia hoax. They made up dirty dossiers. They tried to impeach him a second time, right? I mean, they went after Supreme Court justices. When that wasn't working, they tried to take him off the ballots in Maine and Colorado. When that wasn't working, they went after him civilly and criminally, you know, in every blue state around the country, and yet he still won. And he didn't have the media on his side. You know who he had? He had the American people. And so that journey down that escalator 10 years ago today I don't think it will ever be forgotten in American history. And, you know, that really opened a new chapter to American prosperity. And as a son who just absolutely adores the man, I could not be more proud of him.
And I know that shows all the time, Eric. Tell me how things will change, you think, going forward. I mean, I just mentioned the most consequential president because his arrival on the political scene changed so much. And, you know, once again, putting America first was such a critical move on his part to actually campaign and govern with American citizens' interests at heart first.
Yeah. Well, you know, Maria, like, I'll take my kids trick-or-treating. I'll take them out to a little birthday party, and you'll have kids wearing MAGA hats, right? And it's cool, again, to become, you know, to be involved in politics. And no one wanted to be involved in politics under Obama or Bush, right? I mean, all of a sudden now people are engaged. Youth is engaged, right? I mean, my father kind of taught so many people in this country actually how to fight in a different way, right? I mean, he brought up un-PC issues that, you know, no one wanted to talk about, but needed to, because otherwise our country was going to go to hell. And all of a sudden, they become kind of front burner once again. And so, you know, he's opened so many people's eyes to what was happening to America, the way that we were getting ripped off in so many ways. And I think he's just forever changed the political dialogue in this country and shown that a total outsider, a guy who literally had never been an elected official, could make the biggest move and actually win. He also probably showed that if you do it, you're going to get attacked and your family's going to get attacked. But I think he showed that you didn't have to be a senator for the last 100 years in order to win the presidency. And you know, somebody with kind of bold vision and you know, big mouthpiece can go out and beat the mainstream media, go out and beat, you know, career politicians, go out and beat the Hillary Clintons of the world, who are kind of the greatest political dynasties that we've seen in this country until obviously him. And that's a miraculous thing, and that's something that I don't think is going to be rivals for a very long time.
So what are you expecting once the president steps off of stage at the end of 4 years? Do you think that Make America Great community will force someone just like him to follow in his footsteps? How do you think it plays out? How long-lasting will this be?
I've never been more certain of anything in my entire life. I mean, listen, he's killed every rhino there was in Washington, D.C. So now all of a sudden you have a Republican Party that's united. I mean, look at the cabinet second term versus the cabinet first term. I mean, I think that's the greatest indication. And by the way, he's done that because his ideas and his beliefs and his statements and his political platform is what the American people actually want. Versus these kind of neocons that you had, kind of running the Republican Party for years. And so there's no question that he's changed the trajectory of political, the political, parties indefinitely. But that's going to last, Maria. This isn't a one cycle, two cycle. That's going to last literally, I believe, generations.
Eric, the other thing that he was able to really change was the backdrop of the media. I mean, we were there in the Obama and Biden presidencies where, you had to be careful of everything you said. You got canceled. We both lived it. And so President Trump started Truth Social. And now this morning, you've got an announcement on a new phone. Tell me about that and what you're looking to, quote unquote, correct here.
Yeah. Well, Maria, more and more we're using technology as a company, right, to correct the problems. Obviously, Truth Social was to correct freedom of speech, right? I mean, he lost his throughout the political process. Obviously, crypto, and we've got the biggest projects in crypto, was to correct another problem, which is the fact that they were debanking all conservatives. I was the most canceled person probably in the history of the country. And now we're doing Trump Mobile, and Trump Mobile is going to revolutionize cell phones, mobile calling. We're going to do it better. We're going to do it safer. We're going to have more functionality, more features. And the coolest thing about all these ventures is we're doing it right here in the United States. You're not calling up call centers in Bangladesh. You're not, you're doing it right out of St. Louis, Missouri. And you're going to have phones that are made right here in the United States of America. And they're going to have, it's going to be cheaper, $47 a month. You're going to have more international dialing for free, hundreds of countries, international dialing for free. It is the biggest bang for the buck, and we're really excited to get into the space. I mean, when you take kind of technology, obviously real estate's always been our bread and butter, but when you take the technology world between the social platforms, the actual hard devices, which is really what Trump Mobile is, and then kind of the true retail banking, CeFi, DeFi, worlds of cryptocurrency, which is no question where the world is going. I really believe we're going to have one of the great kind of tech platforms as part of the Trump organization of any company in the world, and I couldn't be more proud of Trump Mobile.
So what's the competition then, Eric? Trump Mobile competes with any other regular phone out there? Who is going to be handling the technicals and the backdrop of that phone, the provider?
Yeah. We've got one of the greatest teams that you can ever imagine. People who have built all the biggest companies in the mobile space. And I can tell you, I was just on stage with them a couple seconds ago when we announced this. They're really coming for everybody. I think we're going to do something that's really, really amazing. And I think people forget about it. I think people often take it for granted. They've had the same carrier for 100 years. That carrier hasn't done anything new or innovative or different. Their plans are probably increasing at 10% a year because people aren't paying attention to their bill. I think we're going to really shake up the space in a very big way, both in terms of the actual hardware of the phones and then obviously eSIM cards. And then just what you get for a plan per month. And we're actually starting it. I think it's very kind of symbiotic of today's date, but we're starting at $47 a month, Maria. And so we're really excited. I think we're going to beat the pants off of everybody, and we're really excited about this venture.
You've also got special perks. You've got plans that offer roadside assistance and telemedicine. Tell me about some of the things that you're adding on to just phone service.
Yeah. We want to have better phone. We want to have better functionality. We want to have better services. Again, so oftentimes those things are kind of forgotten about. So, free roadside assistance, right? Again, through your phone, free, telehealth, which is so important. I mean, it's never been more important, than this day and age. So many other features that are going to get added on. And I think in time, we'll be able to combine a lot of the worlds, the social platforms, obviously, the cryptocurrencies. I think there's a lot of ways that you can bring all these ecosystems together as part of one. And again, most importantly, doing here, right here in the United States. I mean, I won't mention the company just out of respect for them, but you saw that hack, 2 weeks ago where, they had a call center in, Bangladesh or one of these places, and it was selling customers information. We want to do that right here in the United States. We don't want to do that overseas. We don't want to do that in India or one of these places. We want to have customer service by Americans for Americans. We want to have phones built by Americans for Americans. And we want to do it better than anybody. We're going to disrupt the space, and we're very, very excited to do so.
That is incredible, and it's right in step with President Trump's agenda, do it in America. The president is in Canada this morning for the G7 summit, where the Israel-Iran conflict is expected to be high on his agenda.